Good Thursday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather with Sim again. I hope you guys are all having a great day so far. And in today's weather forecast, we're going to be going over the tropics, which we are still watching two areas for potential development. Both of them have a very low chance, so that is good news, as we still could have saw this maybe strengthen to a tropical depression, the low and tropical storm. But thankfully, those chances are dying down, which means we won't have to worry about either one as much. But what we're extremely worried about is those snowfall impacts for the higher elevations, and we're also more concerned about some pretty wild changes that could be around by the end of this month, and those changes could definitely cause a risk for severe weather. But if you are new here to the YouTube channel, or if you want to stay tuned for more weather updates, make sure to go down below and click that subscribe button. If you guys could please get me up to 600 subscribers before this weekend, that would be great. So make sure to go down below and click that subscribe button. Also, make sure to leave a thumbs up too as well. Those help out more than you know. And also leave any questions, comments, or concerns down below. You can leave anything down below as long as it's respectful. But let's first go ahead and look at the tropics. And as you guys can see, we do have those two areas, like I said, that both have a very low chance of development. So not as concerning as what they could have been, as we did have a much higher chance of development the last few days. But because both of them are kind of interacting with land and a little bit of dry air, that's kind of what's making them die down quite a bit. So we will continue to keep an eye on it closely, as both of these do look to bring either some disorganized showers and thunderstorms to both of the areas, or they will turn into tropical depressions potentially. And I'm actually a little bit more concerned about that one doing that, as that one will barely have any time to strengthen, as this one is getting ready to turn back into the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, and this one is getting ready to head into the Caribbean probably in about 4 days or so. But let's look at the intensity guidance for that system that's just to the east there of the Caribbean. And as you guys can see, we do expect that system to really be strengthening a little bit as it does continue its way towards the Caribbean. And as you guys can see, this will strengthen to at least a low and tropical storm, as most models do show that. However, though, some do want to show maybe a low-end Category 1 hurricane, but I think both of those models are outliers, though. So got, most agreement on at least a tropical storm as this continued to make its way towards the Caribbean. So, we will continue to keep an eye on it. Like I said, I'm kind of more on a low-end tropical depression to high-end or low-end tropical storm. So somewhere between tropical depression and tropical storm is what I'm expecting. Because like I said, this is interacting with some dry air, and chances of development have become extremely low. So we will continue to keep an eye on it, like I said, as this thing could still strengthen more than what we're anticipating as of right now. But like I said, chances of development are pretty low with that system, so you guys in the Caribbean could probably calm down a little bit with that system. But I would still want you guys in the Caribbean to be on a little high alert just in case this does something wild. But let's now go ahead and look at the mall track guidance. And as you guys can see, only a few of them want to show it going past the Caribbean, and I'm kind of surprised about that, because usually we would have all model guidance on here, but only a few of them want to show it going past the Caribbean. And some of them, and that also might mean how long it will last, because this one, the AEM2 model, only shows it going about right here, probably indicating that it may die down. So like I said, we will keep an eye on it, but I mean this kind of make me feel better a little bit, especially because chances of development have gone down, and now models are showing that it won't last as long, and it will probably die down sometime between Puerto Rico and the Lesser Antilles. So like I said, we will keep an eye on it just in case, but chances of development are really low, so probably not going to see anything too crazy. Let's now go ahead and look at the watches, warnings, and advisories. And as you guys can see, we do have freeze warnings currently in effect for parts there of the Ohio Valley and Midwest. That includes Illinois, Southeast Missouri, into all of Kentucky, Tennessee, all of Indiana, southern Michigan, into Ohio, and even parts there of the mid-Atlantic under some freeze warnings, but those frost advisories still continue there across parts there of northern Alabama, northern Georgia, northern South Carolina, into parts there of northern and western North Carolina, into parts there of Virginia, where we do still have those freeze warnings and frost advisories in effect. So if you forgot to, cover your plants last night, that's probably too bad. The good news is that we will start to see another warm front move on through later this week across much of the eastern United States. So, if you haven't protected any plants yet, probably too bad. As like I said, this will be probably our last night of maybe another potential frost around, but we will definitely be warmed up across quite a bit of the eastern United States as we head into the weekend, which means we thankfully do get a break from a lot of this freeze and frost conditions across that area, so we will be keeping an eye out for that. We also do have fire weather warnings across the upper plains and parts there of the Midwest, and then we also do have some winter storm watches and warnings still in effect for parts there of Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, and Montana, especially for the higher elevations, and same goes for parts there of California, Oregon, and as well as Washington. Let's now go ahead and look at the fire weather outlooks, and as you guys can see, we still are dealing with some critical fire weather conditions there across South Dakota, into eastern Nebraska, into northern Kansas, and extreme western Iowa, currently under some critical fire weather conditions for today. So whether you're under an elevated risk or a critical risk, make sure you are not burning today, as even if you're in the elevated risk, fires could still spread rapidly. So make sure you are not burning today. And same goes for California. We got some elevated fire risks for tomorrow, including areas along the Los Angeles area. So like I said, if you're under an elevated fire risk too as well, even as we head into tomorrow, burning is still not recommended, as these fires could still be very wild in those elevated risk areas. Let's now go ahead and look at the total snowfall, and like I said, we do have winter storm warnings in effect. Starting off with the Kings Peak region, we are expecting anywhere from about a foot to 24 inches of snowfall across the Kings Peak area in Utah, but look at parts there of southwest Colorado, guys, especially in the highest elevation there. We're talking the potential for up to 40 inches of snowfall, as we are starting to see a little bit of that gray color start to show up in the higher elevations there of Colorado. And like I said, that could definitely indicate 40 inches of snow there, as that's the only gray color shown on the scale. So this is something that we still really do need to be keeping an eye on, as this still, is looking to be a pretty miserable snowstorm, and we can expect there to be extreme impacts for the next couple of days, especially in the higher elevations there of Colorado, where we do have some major travel impacts in effect for those areas. But even up here towards the Kings Peak area, we could be seeing even some moderate impacts, and I wouldn't be surprised to even start to see some isolated major impacts across those areas, as like I said, anywhere from a foot to 2 feet of snow will be likely there across the Kings Peak area of Utah, but we could even see up to 3 feet of snow there across Colorado, as we could see over 36 inches. And if you guys are wondering what 36 inches is, it is 3 feet of snow. So definitely get ready if you do live in the higher elevations there in Colorado. And same goes for Wyoming. We do have some isolated spots that could see some minor travel impacts, but not as bad as what we're expecting for those two elevations across Colorado and as well as Utah. Let's now go ahead and look at what we can expect as we head into later October. And as you guys can see, we will likely start to see another cool down move on through as we head into later October, as another round of cold air will surge on in as we head into October 25th, with much above average temperatures still continuing out to the west. But look what happens as we head into October 29th, guys. Now, obviously, take this with a grain of salt, because we are looking more than likely 15 to 20 days out, but we could be talking, guys, about a huge cool down moving on into the central United States, and that cold air could surge out to the east, colliding with that warm air, and that could mean a huge storm system potentially developing, and we'll have to see if this continues to get worse. But we are watching, guys, for that potential of even severe weather, because you guys could see that those warm and cold temperatures were colliding with each other, and when that happens, we usually get a lot of energy and instability, which really do form these storm systems right there, as you guys can see. So we will need to be watching very closely for something like this to develop as we head into later October. And then after that storm system, we even see more of a significant Arctic blast move on into the eastern United States, with even more well below average temperatures appearing quite likely. So definitely going to be interesting, as we will likely see more of these Arctic blasts move on through as we head into later October, but we will also likely be warmer than normal at times. And like I said, with both those warm and cold temperatures colliding with each other, fighting with each other, that really does create those wild storm systems. So that's why we are going to continue to keep you guys updated on that. But thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy today's weather forecast. If you guys are new here to the YouTube channel, or if you guys haven't subscribed already, make sure to go down below and click that subscribe button, like I said, so you guys can stay tuned for more weather updates like this. I also will continue to keep you guys updated on this winter. My winter forecast looks to be released sometime November to early December, so make sure to stay tuned for that too, as well as I will even continue to do more small winter updates too as well, which would not be my winter forecast. That would just give you guys a good idea on what we could still see. But make sure to stay tuned for all that, and I hope you guys all have a great day.